Alright, let's see if we can't find the stream. Shouldn't be too far away, hopefully. Pause _ Formula 1. Appears that the stream's live. The audio is working as it should. The ready up call has been given, so we should be getting underway very, very shortly. Rightio. Yeah, no, everything should be working as it should be. We'll give it just a little bit of time, folks. I'll start the intro when the screen cuts to black and we head into the loading screen. Plenty to talk about heading into this round, to say the least, so prepare yourselves. It's going to be a fairly lengthy intro. Yeah. Alrighty. So, hello everyone and welcome to round 3 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. Another one of the world circuits created by the track-making supremo that is Herman Tilke. C.O.T.A, as it's more commonly known, was constructed in 2012 in an attempt to try and rekindle the relationship between USA and Formula 1. Considering now, in the year 2023, Formula 1 will be travelling to the United States for 3 of the scheduled 24 races of this season, it's safe to say that C.O.T.A has done its job. It's certainly one of the more respected and unique Tilkedromes in existence. The current layout measures up at 3.43 miles and consists of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1 and Turn 12. The racetrack is sometimes referred to as a Frankenstein circuit due to the fact that several sections of the racetrack are designed to mimic famous parts of other circuits. Most notably, the high-speed S's of turns 3 through 9 are somewhat reminiscent of the famous Maggots and Beckett's S's from Silverstone, and the triple right-hander of turns 16, 17 and 18 that mimics the iconic turn 8 from Turkey's Istanbul Park. The circuit provides a great challenge and a great opportunity for great racing, but unfortunately, before we focus on what's going to be happening on track, which is hopefully going to be in a few minutes' time, there is a fair bit of news to go through first, and unfortunately it's not exactly good news. Now, over the course of the week between Canada and USA, we've had a few incidents that have drastically changed what AM1 looks like now heading into the future. The main person at the center of all of this change is Andy Wu. He was involved in a couple of incidents that are outside the world of F1 league racing, rather in the NASCAR and Assetto Corsa Competizione tiers that Contest of Speed also run. It seems that with the incidents that took place, Andy Wu has been subsequently banned for the rest of this season of competition in all tiers. It's not just Formula 1 related, it is also related to NASCAR and ACC tiers. But yeah, he's been removed from all forms of competition here on Contest of Speed. It meant that with the ban, a few of the other drivers that caught news of this have also subsequently stopped racing here on Contest of Speed. And I must say, the attendance for a little while looked quite atrocious, to say the least. We were looking at 9 to 10 drivers for the start of this race, so the league coordinators had to pull some strings to try and make an event like this happen. We got 16 drivers for this event, which is a lot more than what we were anticipating. And this is because they elected to make a change to go from a no-assist racing tier to an assist racing tier. The drivers will be allowed to use traction control and ABS for this race at the very, very least. We'll wait and see what it looks like in the future for AM1, but for now, at the very least, we got a race going. But yeah, we've had a fairly tremendous blow when it came to the drivers that we lost. So now we're clutching at straws, trying to make things work. And now we got this in front of us for C.O.T.A. So hopefully that, with the changes that have been made, at the very least we get an entertaining race going on here at Circuit of the Americas. So time to turn it to some slightly positive news in reflection to last week's race at Montreal. There weren't any incident reports from what I could find, so the final finishing results stand from last week's race in Montreal. In the Drivers' Championship, Barmer 22 is leading the way on 52 points, followed by Vermeuxx on 33, and Darth Vader also on 33 points. Next is Andy Will on 24, followed by Saint on 20, Mitch Burns on 10, Shelley the Turtle on 6, Elite Game Boy on 4, Bursey on 2, and Cameron at the bottom of the top 10, yet to score. In the Constructors, Red Bull are leading on 72 points, followed by Ferrari on 35, then Haas on 33. McLaren are next on 24, followed by Williams on 16, Alpine on 12, Aston Martin on 6, AlphaTauri on 5, Alfa Romeo on 1, and Mercedes yet to score in the Constructors. Looking at the reserves list, we have a few coming in. We have Matty Robbo jumping in the Williams seat, replacing Shelley the Turtle. Orlando has come in to replace Mitch Burns. Scavney, who is in the session right now, has taken an empty seat that was left vacant by Andy Wu. He's going to be a permanent inclusion in AM1, as it seems, from the information I've been given. Mr. A. Garvey, who's at the top of the board, he's filling in the other empty seat that's been left by Kittapeta. He's elected to leave alongside Andy. And David Ketron, is he driving right now? No, he isn't. He is not in the lobby just yet. Wing It, I believe, is replacing Elite Game Boy in the AlphaTauri. No, Wing It isn't in the lobby just yet either. Oh, no, yes, he is. Oh, he's in the Alfa Romeo. That's weird. He was meant to be in the AlphaTauri. And B. Schulz in the Mercedes-Benz, another reserve driver. So we've got a fair few reserves for this event, which means that we've got a 16-car field for the start of this Grand Prix. Hopefully a few more drivers are able to join. We'll just have to wait and see. So, qualifying at the moment. No one's set a lap time just yet, as Cam Tizzle has joined the session. Matty Robbo has left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin as soon as possible. His car currently in the pit lane, so it shouldn't impede anybody. Electric Blade making his way through the final sector now, heading around turns 13 and 14 and towards the hairpin of turn 15. Definitely one of the overtaking opportunities around this 3.4 mile racetrack. It's an interesting overtaking opportunity, and it's thanks to the wide line that drivers take into that left-hand corner. It leaves a massive door open down the inside, and you can try and send it in Kvyat style to try and make a move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Out of the final corner for Electric Blade, he'll set a 1 minute 34.180, and that's the benchmark for everyone else to try and beat. Mr. Garvey here crosses the line to do a 35.7. Bursey making his way through the final sector, clipping the apex at turn 13, around turn 14, and he spins out, losing control. Car now facing the wrong way as Barmer jumps to the top with a 33.3. DK Nortek in the Alfa Romeo making his way through the final sector, nice and steady on the accelerator, heading into the hairpin of turn 15, second gear, revving it out in second and climbing his way up through the gearbox and around the triple right hand of 16, 17. Oh, well, he didn't quite get to turn 18. Thanks to that spin at turn 17. One of the dangerous areas of the racetrack for sure, that triple right-hander, especially the middle apex of turn 17. If you get through that corner just a little bit wrong, the car can do exactly that. It can spin out. The grip will just disappear from underneath you. You can 100% go through the corners flat out, just like Switchback here has just demonstrated. But you need to be fully committed, and you need to make sure you get the line spot on, because if you don't, you spin. Switchback crosses the line to go fifth fastest, on a 1 minute 34.930. Darth Vader heading towards the middle sector split. Got back-to-back podiums in both Bahrain and at Montreal. Be looking to get another one here at C.O.T.A. 1 minute 3.282 to the middle sector, making his way through the final one as I speak. into the hairpin, down from 5th gear down to 3rd, seeing a couple of drivers try and use 2nd, and there's a short shift up to 4th gear, so using quite high gears out to turn 15, and all that Vader is trying to do is find traction out of the hairpin. Around the penultimate corner, turn 19, and look at all the sun that you get to look at heading into the final corner. It's absolutely ridiculous as Scavney jumps up to P4. Vader jumps up to P3, 1 minute 34.040. And Mr. Schulz in the Mercedes-Benz, he's just jumped up to P2 as well, I've noticed. 1 minute 33.824, just under half a second off Barmer 22, who's just been wheeled back into his garage. Cam Tizzle getting ready. Saint getting ready as well. Tell you what, we're going to ride on board with the Red Bull driver, give you a guided tour of this 3.4 mile racetrack. Around the final corner in 4th gear, nice and steady on the accelerator. He opens DRS and heads down the main straightaway to begin his flying lap. Climbing up the massive hill into turn 1. Definitely one of the better overtaking spots on the circuit. I'd say the second best overtaking spot on the circuit. Down the hill and around turn 2. This flat out right-hander and now into the S's. Turns 3, 4, into the left-hander of 5. Then this double apex right of turn 6. That completes the first sector. Into turn 7. Around the uphill right-hander of turn 8. And then completing the S's is the left-hander of turn 9. Around the small kink of turn 10, down the hill and up towards turn 11. Another potential overtaking spot, though you won't see too many overtakes through there, because it's just easier to stay behind your rival and utilise DRS down this long straightaway and heading towards the best overtaking spot on the circuit, turn 12. Hard on the brakes here at the 100 board, brings it down to 3rd gear, clipping the apex at about 62 miles an hour and heading into turn 13, short shifting up to 4th gear, keeping it in 4th through turn 14, now into turn 15, the tight left-hand hairpin. Short shifting up to 4th gear, Alfa Romeo getting well out of the way, that's a very nice job. Turn 16, 17 and 18 make the triple right-hander in this 3rd sector. Now into the tricky turn 19. Has a blind approach, you have to be pretty spot on through there and around the final corner. Turn 20. Oh, losing the back end though, and Saint puts it into the wall. It was a pretty good lap up until that point, but it just demonstrates around this circuit you have to be very, very careful the whole way round. Even the final corner, turn 20, can catch you out. Nortec making his way out of turn 1 and through turn 2. Climbing up through the gears. 7th gear into the S's. Turns 3, 4, turn 5. Keeping in 7th gear through turn 6. Now down a couple of gears as he exits the right-hander. Nice and tidy so far. The Alfa Romeo looks pretty planted, which is really, really important. You need a stable car through there. For the quick drivers, though, for those who are like Barmer 22, for example, they probably prefer a car that has a really pointy front end. That way you can hit every apex through there and carry as much speed as possible. Where a driver like Barmer would find stabilities through their own skill, just catching the slides of the car through the corners, or making sure that the car doesn't slide, period. Yellows are out, that's Darth Vader slowing down to let people through. Nortec does a 3.7 to the middle sector. Don't think that's particularly competitive. I remember Bursey did a 3.2, to the middle sector. Around the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. Hello, Mosey. Nice to see your support. Yeah, Schulz is doing pretty good at the moment. He's on the front row, a bit wide there from Nortec, as he makes his way around the final corner and up towards the line. It's a 1 minute 35.1. It's P8 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Switchback heading up the hill and into turn 1. Down to 2nd gear. Will he short shift? Yes, he will. He will short shift up to 4th. Heading down the hill and around turn 2 towards the S's of turns 3 into 4 and around turn 5. Small lift there. Brings it down to 6th gear. Clips both apexes pretty well, I'd say. And he's up as well. Up by 2.5 tenths of a second. Howdy to yourself, Andy Wu. It's a disappointing sight to only see you in the comments section, but I suppose these sets of circumstances mean that you can only do that now. So, out of turn 11 and down the long. I suppose it's a back straightaway. It's not quite a back straightaway, but I suppose it is. heading towards the middle sector split. Keep an eye on what the other drivers are doing. Vermeulen is up. Oh, not anymore. That is a spin and a half from Vermeulen, exiting turn 14. Facing the wrong way, he'll flick spin the car back in the right direction. Fortunately, he hasn't been disqualified. Switchback, meanwhile, is up considerably to the middle sector as he makes his way around the triple right-hander, turn 16, 17 and 18. Keeping it flat out the entire way round and into the penultimate corner, turn 19. One corner remains for Switchback. Just needs to get through it nice and tidily. Up towards the line now. It's a 1 minute 33.9. Just behind Schulz in P2. Not much separating the two drivers. Just a little over 1/10 of a second. Schulz, meanwhile, making his way down the long back straightaway towards turn 12 with a face full of sun. It's like you're getting flashbanged by the game. It's just all sun heading down the back straight. Nice and tidy through 12. Oh, not on the exit though. Getting a lot of rotation. It's cost him time. He's now down by 1/10 of a second. What about Scavney? What are you up to? You're up by 1/10 and a half. As Cam, I believe, has just jumped up to P7. Yeah, it was Cam. 1 minute 34.290. He's just 4 thousandths behind Scavney, who I believe has bailed out of this flying lap attempt. F1 Racer, looks like you're on an in-lap. Orlando is on a flyer. He's up by 2/10 of a second to the first sector, but if he wants to improve, he needs to find a considerable amount of time. And I just saw the flashing red lights at the back of the car. So he's actually switched the car into harvest mode. Switchback, he's making his way to the pits. Darth Vader on an outlap, getting himself ready for a flyer. Currently P4 with a 34 flat. He is just over 1/10 of a second behind Switchback in P3, so he doesn't have to improve by much. And with a racetrack that has 20 corners, you can find 1/10, especially considering several of those corners form a very notorious and very tricky S section, so there's definitely time to be found for sure. Vader just needs to try and put the lap together, which is a lot easier said than done here at C.O.T.A, for sure. Alright, around the penultimate corner, up towards the final turn. Just take it nice and steady. Don't want to abuse the track limits too much on your outlap, otherwise you might find your flying lap will also be invalidated. Vader gets no such warning. Makes his way up the hill towards turn 1 on another flying lap attempt. Second gear, short shifting to third. Fourth gear, down the hill and through turn 2. Climbing up through the gearbox, flat out around the right-hander, and into the S as we go. Chucking it through, small lift there. Car maybe looking a tad bit understeery. What does the clock say? To the first sector, he's up, but only just by 4 thousandths of a second. Might suggest to me he might have a slightly less draggy setup. He doesn't have as tall wings as what some of the other drivers might be running. Out to turn 11 and down the straightaway. Ooh, couldn't get to full throttle too early there. I think the Haas had a bit of a wiggle. The camera angle didn't give us a great look at that, but I think he had a wiggle. Towards the first middle sector split, I should say. Through turn 3, short shifting up to 4th. Clock says he's up, and by a fair chunk as well. Too early though, into turn 13. Turned in way too early there. Had to turn out of the corner to make sure he didn't get a warning, so there's some time loss and missing the apex by quite a bit there at turn 15 too. So this is a less than tidy final sector from Vader. You won't be too pleased with it, I'm sure. 2 corners remain though. Can he get this right through 19? It looked like he... Oh, he's wide. He's way wide. And yeah, he bails out of the lap. Yeah, the front end was not cooperating with him at all through that final sector. He had to really wrestle the car to try and get any rotation out of it. And sometimes he just asked a bit too much. Especially at turn 13. Turned in way, way too early. Alright, Captain Barmer, let's see what you've got. Current PB is a 33.3, sitting at the top of the table by 4.5 tenths of a second. He's making his way up the hill and towards turn 1. And I believe that switchback's leaving the pit lane, is it? Yes, it is. Around turn 1, down the hill and around turn 2. Flat out, hugging the inside line the whole way round. Now into the S's. Turns 3, 4, into 5, around turn 6, down to 6th gear. Back on the accelerator. Clock says to the first sector he's up by just under 1/10 of a second. Through turn 8 and up the hill and around turn 9. 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, through turn 10. 7th gear. He's keeping it 7th as he heads into turn 11. Down through the gearbox now, down to 3rd. Clips the apex, he short shifts up to 4th. Gets a face full of sun. Heading down the back straightaway, he'll open DRS. What kind of top speed will we see here from the Red Bull? See 190 miles an hour indicated. 193. 193 miles an hour down the back straight. Around turn 12 towards 13. He's found 4/10 of a second through the middle sector. He has found a lot of time. Vermu has just jumped up to P2 as well. 1 minute 33.606. Bit of a wiggle out of turn 15. Around the triple right-hander he goes. Flat out the whole way round, but he loses it. He clipped the inside curb at turn 17 and the car sent itself around. There was nothing that he could do about it. But that ruins what looked like a pretty good flying lap attempt. Oh dear, dang indeed, Mosey. Dang indeed. Out of the final corner, up towards the line for switchback, he'll begin this flying lap attempt up the hill towards turn 1. If he wants to start on the front road, he will have to improve by 3.5 of a second. See if he can try and do it out of turn 1 and down the hill through turn 2 and towards the S's. Bursey has just improved as well. He's up in P4. Schulz looks like he's going to bail on this flying lap attempt. He's done for this qualifying session. And Barmer's just decided to disqualify himself again. He did this back at Montreal. So Barmer's going to start from the very back. Would have been fascinating to see what he would have been able to do if it weren't for that spin at turn 17. Because it was looking like it was going to be a high 32. But we're not going to find out. Scavney has just improved to a 34 flat. Oh, Electric Blade has just spun out to the final corner, ruining that flying lap attempt. Matty Robbo, his session is done. Cam's done. Mr. Gavey here is done for the session. F1 Racer has just begun his final flying lap. So back to switchback, I suppose. He's up by just under 3/10 of a second. He could challenge for pole position, but he needs to make this final sector count. He cannot make a mistake through any of these corners. Small safety lift, you saw it there on the telemetry. So he's not game to send it through flat out through the triple right-hander. Out to turn 19. One corner remains, turn 20, easy on the accelerator, nice and stable on the exit. He jumps up to pole position with a 1 minute 33.493. He's taken it from Vermu by just over 1/10 of a second. Still got a few cars out on track though. Racer has just invalidated this run. Nortec, I believe, is finished. Wing It, meanwhile, is up by 1 second to the middle sector. Around the penultimate corner, bit wide, but he's kept 2 tyres over the white line, which is the main thing. Nice and tidy out of the final corner. He'll jump up to P10 with a 34.4. 1 second off pole position. So there we go. Switchback takes pole right at the death of qualifying with a 33.4. It wasn't the fastest time of the session, but because Barmer has voluntarily disqualified himself, it means that Switchback will start at the very front of the field. Vermu will start alongside him on the front row, followed by Schulz in 3rd and Bursey in 4th, so both Ferraris towards the front. Vader in 5th, followed by Scavney in 6th, then Electric Blade, Matty Robbo, Cam Tizzle and Wing It rounds out the 10. We have Garvey in P11, followed by F1 Racer, Nortec, Orlando, Saint and Barmer will be the last 2 cars starting on the grid. So an all Red Bull last row. Right. Just have to wait a little while for everyone to be finished qualifying. Yeah, quite the performance indeed from an AM3 driver. P3 on the grid is not a bad effort at all. Just waiting on Nortec. There we are. It's taken a while, but qualifying has finally ended. This man will be starting right at the front of the grid for this United States Grand Prix. A 33.4 puts Switchback on pole position. Vermouth will start alongside on the front row in P2, followed by Schulz in third position, then Bersey, in P4. Darth Vader will start 5th, with Scavney P6, Electric Bladed 7th, Matty Robbo in 8th, Cam Tizzle 9th, and Wingit rounds out the top 10. Garvey starts P11, followed by F1 Racer and Nortec, Orlando 14th, and Saint and Barmer will start from the very back. It'll be interesting to see how he fares, making his way up through the field, heading back towards the front. He did it last week in Montreal, so there's no reason he can't do it this week at C.O.T.A. Now, it's interesting to note... Fair enough, Andy. Interesting to note about this circuit is that you can use a wide variety of setups here at C.O.T.A. For qualifying, preferably you want a high downforce setup because it extracts so much time through all the corners around the racetrack. But for the race, unless you're towards the front of the grid, a high downforce setup is not going to help you at all. I mean, you can't pass through the S's for obvious reasons. And with a high downforce setup, it means you're carrying a lot of drag down the straights. So you don't have that straight line speed to try and make moves into the key overtaking areas of turn 1 and 12. So some drivers may have taken a slight compromise on their setup, reduced their wings, so they have a better opportunity of making up moves throughout the race. It'll be interesting to see who's got that really high top end speed and who's got that sort of high corner speed, particularly through the first and final sectors. Be very, very interesting. Now we are taking a little while. We're giving all the drivers ample opportunity to adjust their setups if need be, and also adjust the strategy for the start of this race. Now I do believe it's either medium hard or hard to medium, like it is with almost every racetrack in this game, because strategies just can't help but be dull in F1 22. Of course, if we have any safety cars over the course of this race, that will shake things up. But if it's green flag from start to finish, it's either hard medium or medium hard. Alright, drivers will begin the formation lap. Let's see who's starting on what compound of tyre. Okay, maybe I was wrong. We've got a couple of drivers starting on the softs, of all things. So, Switchback and Vermouth, they line up on the front row of the grid. They're both starting on the hard compound tyre. Schulz and Bersey in P3 and 4 lining up on the second row of the grid. They're both on the mediums, and there's Vermouth doing Vermouth things because he's Vermouth. Next is Darth Vader in 5th on the hard compound tyre. Scavney P6 on the medium compound tyre. Then we have Electric Blade on the soft compound tyre. Interesting. Then Matty Robbo on the hard tyre, Cam Tizzle on the medium, same with Wingit in 10th. Garvey starting outside of the 10 is on the hard tyre, F1 Racers on the mediums. Nortec is on the softs, one of two drivers on the softs. Orlando on the mediums, Saint on the mediums, and Barmer, of course, is on the hard tyre. So we have two drivers on the softs. We have 7 drivers on the mediums. That means 6 drivers are on the hards. 6, 7, 2. Fair enough. Oh, that doesn't. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the mediums. Not 7, 8. I can't count. So we have 6 on the hards, 8 on the mediums, and 2 on the softs. There we go. Alright. We'll get rid of the tyre graphic just for now. We'll bring it back later on. Just want to open up the viewing space a little bit. I've been crying for this for the past few games, but I really hope they allow for customization for the spectator point of view. Like, you can customize the driver POV for some time now. I wish you could do that for the spectator cam, because that leaderboard on the left is ginormous. It takes up so much of the screen. I hope in future games that we can customize that and make it a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. Alright. Two Red Bulls at the back are now lined up ready to race. 16 car field for the start of this Grand Prix. 28 laps in front of us and 10 red lights. And we're underway here in Texas. It's a nice start from Vermeulen. He has the inside line heading up to turn 1, but it'll be Schulz who slingshots through around the outside into turn 1. Doesn't have the grip to fight the Ferrari around the outside. So it's Vermeulen who leads. Let's switch back in third. Yellow flags are out. It's Saint slow at the final sector. Matty Robbo has dropped down as well. So has Orlando as the leaders make their way through the opening sector S's. Side by side is Barmer and Cam, and Barmer wins the battle. Electric Blade tumbles down through the order. Oh, dearie me, he's in a precarious spot. Thankfully, no major incident from that. But Blade's now down to last. Out of turn 10, towards turn 11, Cam Tizzle has overtaken F1 racer, but Schulz behind. What a start from him. It could have been P1 out of turn 1, but he had to fight around the outside. There was no way he was going to do that, even on the medium compound tyre. Down the long straightaway towards turn 12, you can see Switchback right behind, lurking behind the Mercedes-Benz, and unable to find a way by. That is that was a big cut there, Switchback. My goodness. Nortec and Barmer battling for position. Where's Barmer? There he is, down the inside. Gets in front, gets his nose in front, and he's into P9. So from P16, Barmer's already made up 7 spots on the opening lap. It's typical Barmer stuff here at COTA. Eyes back towards the front, shall we? Darth Vader under a little bit of pressure from Burzy. Vader, you can see there on the hard tyre. Burzy's on a set of mediums, so Burzy's got pace. What's happened to Garvey? He slows down and lets by Barmer and Nortec. So maybe he had a bit of a mistake at turn 19. Maybe he and Barmer came together, I'm not sure. Up the hill towards turn 1. Cam's on the attack. Looking down the inside here into the left-hander. Got the inside line, but Garvey's fighting around the long way. But Cam gets in front, thanks to the grippier medium tyre. Moves in front of Garvey into P10. Towards the front though, Vermeulen still leading the way. Schulz applying pressure. Switchback losing a little bit of ground. The gap has increased to 0.8 of a second. Make that 9. Down the hill towards turn 11. Schulz won't be able to do anything just yet. He's a bit too far behind. But when lap 3 comes around and DRS becomes enabled, Schulz will be on the attack. Will more than likely find a way by Vermeulen, especially considering the fact he's on the medium compound tyre right now, compared to Vermeulen who's on the hards. He won't have a great deal of pace just yet, Vermeulen. But I imagine now, after 1.5 laps, those tyres should be finally up into an optimal temperature range. Rest of the gaps throughout the field looking pretty good at the moment, but no one in any sort of position to attack. Yellows are out. That is Orlando spinning at turn 14. So a bit of a moment there, but he gets going again. Yellows are out again. Not quite sure who that was for. Looking at the mini-map, everyone was moving quite okay. And then Saint has had a shocking start. Vermeulen sets the new fastest lap. He's already had one stop, Saint. He's moved on to a set of medium compound tyres, a fresh set of mediums. Around turn 1 and down the hill towards turn 2. Electric Blade sets a new fastest lap at 37.8. Barmer gets by Wing It. That is for P7. Gets him round the outside at turn 2. So tidy move. His next target will be Scabney in P6. 2 Alfa Romeos following one another through the S's. Nortec will be looking to get by his teammate as soon as possible. Try and make use of those soft compound tyres while they're still good. Schulz here. Will he be close enough to try and attack into turn 12? Needs a really tidy run out of turn 11. He's got it. He's 4/10 behind. He's dumping battery. DRS open. He's now switched the battery off. He is buried in the slipstream, closing the gap towards turn 12, looking to the inside. Dives it in. Vermeulen leaves him space. Oh, a bit of a wiggle on the exit. Vermeulen hangs on to P2, but only just. Darth Vader applying pressure to Burzy. 4.5 separating these two. Burzy on the medium compound tyre has the opportunity to try and catch up to the top 3 if he can. Got a little bit of clear air to play with. See if he can catch up. shrinking just a little bit between Burzy and the top 3. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Schulz with DRS open. Closing the gap up to the leader, but not by enough. Oh, Orlando spinning again. Saint spinning again. So 2 spins at the same time for the same sector as well. Yeah, a few drivers not having fun here at C.O.T.A. As I mentioned in the intro, it is a very, very difficult racetrack. So many areas around this circuit can catch you out. But astonishingly, even with the circuit's difficulty, C.O.T.A. tends to produce some pretty exciting racing. So hopefully get to see some more battling up and down the field. We might see a battle for the lead here. Schulz has closed in. Or had a sneaky look down the inside. Vermeulen missed the apex at turn 11. As a result, he's compromised his run down this straightaway. DRS open. Battery switched on. This should be an easy pass. Down the inside. Has a nose in front and will get through into the race lead. Yellow's out again. It's Orlando again, this time at turn 9. So Schulz is our race leader now. Vermeulen down in second. Switchback still hovering behind in third. Wingett and Cam side by side. Around the outside goes Cam Tizzle at turn 13 and 14. You'll have the inside line at turn 15. Saint gets a 3-second time penalty. Cam moves up to P8. A nice move. Some good battling between himself and Wingett. Towards turn 13. Yellow's out again. It's DK Nortec spinning round. That is at turn 17 and turn 18. Nortec costing himself time, and he's on the soft tyre as well. Those drivers on the soft tyre have not made great use of them, it seems. They have fallen backwards in the order. Blade down to 12th, Nortec down to 14th. They've lost 5 and 1 positions, respectively, as Nortec goes into the pits. Switchback on the back of Vermeulen. 0.2 of a second. Separating P2 and 3 as Schulz pulls away on those still relatively fresh medium compound tyres. Out of turn 9, heading towards turn 10. Switchback gaining momentum. As he heads into the hairpin, you can see 2 very different racing lines from Vermeulen. Switchback keeping it on the tarmac. That way he gets maximum grip into the corner. Whereas Vermeulen uses the curve on the outside. He's doing that to try and open up the corner as much as possible, to try and carry as much speed around the corner as possible. Here comes Barmer on the attack. Down the inside into turn 12. Breaks in deep, gets in front. He's now into P6. His next target will be Darth Vader in 5th. Switchback half a second behind Vermeulen now. Losing a little bit of ground through this section. Perhaps suggesting that Vermeulen might have some better downforce being generated from that Ferrari. Might have a qualifying setup rather than a race setup. He's even gained time on Schulz. Yellows are out. It's Burzy spinning. Oh, he backs it up well. Uses the runoff area intelligently to try and get his car going again. There goes Matty Rombo, and Burzy is now down in 13th position after that spin. Up the hill towards turn 1. The front wing cam here was Schulz. Bit of a missed apex there. Missed it by about 1.5 foot or so, but he gets the car rotated. That's the main thing. Vermeulen has built up a small margin over Switchback. The gap's now 0.8, well 8.5 now, as Blade overtakes F1 Racer. Seems that F1 Racer is trying to fight back. Oh dear, he has spun. At the entry to turn 2, I wonder if he and Blade came together after turn 1, and as a result, F1 Racer got the short end of the stick and spun round. Barmer on the back of Vader, heading around turn 11. You can see how much. You can see how much Barmer closes in on the brakes. Insane. Saint retires in the pits. Barmer draws alongside Vader. They're wheel to wheel, heading towards turn 12. Vader can't fight this, I'm afraid. Through goes the Red Bull into 4th position. Now he's got to catch up to the top 3. The gap is 3.3 seconds. Speaking of which, we've got a nice aerial shot looking down at the drivers heading through the final sector. Saint has left the session as well. Gap between the top 2, 0.8 of a second. Gap between P2 and 3, also about 0.8 of a second. So these guys are pretty evenly spread out right now. All got pretty even pace. But I'm sure Schulz is hoping to try and pull away from the two behind if he can. It is a bit irritating when you're on the softer tyre and you know you've got pace, but the car behind is still within DRS range. And as we know in F1 games, DRS is ridiculously powerful. When you're within range, you gain so much time with DRS assistance. And I reckon if Schulz broke out of that 1 second range, he'd be able to try and build a gap over Vermeulen and Switchback. But as of right now, Vermeulen is still within that 1 second range, so he's gaining time. And he's also, in absolutely fair credit to Vermeulen, he's actually gained a little bit of time through that first sector. Again, sort of reaffirming the idea that Vermeulen might have slightly taller wings compared to Schulz on his Ferrari. He's generating more downforce through that first sector. Barmer closing in. He's now 2.6 seconds behind Switchback in third place. So he's going to be arriving very quickly to that top three battle. It'll be interesting to see what he can do in that battle as well. He's on the same strat as Vermeulen and Switchback on the hard compound tyre. Vader's in that same strategy as well. Yellows are out. It's Switchback! Switchback has made a mistake at turn 14. He drops now down to P6. So losing control of the car, spinning out, has dropped him down from third down to sixth. So what was... Oh, yellows are out. It's Wingett, I think it is. And again, out in the runoff area. He'll rejoin safely behind Verzi. Slight bit of irony. The car that passed him just then also had a spin at that same corner. Very notorious corner, for sure. Have to be so careful. So what was a 3-car fight at the front is now a 2-car fight at the front. Schulz versus Vermeulen. Schulz has track position and clear air. It's on 7-lap old mediums, which should be still good. Vermeulen's got plenty of speed through the first sector, but he's got a worse tyre in comparison on the hard compound tyre. But those mediums inevitably will drop off in terms of pace. Schulz, he's unable to break away from Vermeulen's grasp. The Argentine driver is still there. Barmer closing in. At the beginning of this lap, the gap was about 3.5 seconds thanks to Switchback spin. It's now reduced down to 3.1. Down the long straightaway, though, he actually loses a considerable amount of time to Vermeulen. That is expected. Vermeulen does have DRS, of course. Yellows are out. That is Orlando spinning. This is at turn 7, entering turn 8. Around the triple right-hander. Heading towards the penultimate corner. One of my least favourite corners in all of Formula 1. It seems pretty innocuous. But for anyone who doesn't use racing line, you can understand why that corner is such a pain. Because the apex of that corner is completely blind, thanks to a small crest just before the apex. So you have to guess where the corner is every single time. And you can get used to the racetrack, you can get used to where you need to turn in. But when you're trying to find your rhythm, especially in the early stages of a race and through qualifying, it is a total nightmare to deal with. Trying to guess where that damn apex is at turn 19. But yeah, for anyone who uses racing line, not so much of a problem because you just follow the line. But anyone who doesn't use it, total nightmare. Orlando spinning again. Another incident at the triple left-hander. Drivers really need to try and take it easy through there because we're having a few incidents through there, and I can't help but feel if we have a couple more, we're going to have a really big crash because we still have trains forming. You can see them on the minimap. As Schulz is under attack from Vermeulen. Vermeulen looking around the outside at 12. That will turn into the inside at 13. Vermeulen sends it in. They're side by side. Vermeulen gets in front. Switchback gets a 3-second time penalty. Heading into turn 15. Schulz still trying to fight down the inside, but he can't keep the fight alive. Vermeulen will retake the lead. Around the triple right-hander. Towards turn 19. Can Schulz fight back? He's still well within DRS range. He will get a bit of DRS assistance here down the main straight. But they've got company. And that is the championship leader, Barmer 22. He has arrived. He is 8.5 tenths of a second behind Schultz. He'll have DRS on this lap. He's going to be closing in really quickly now. He'll introduce himself to the battle at the front of the field. Through the S's. Heading around turn 6 as Racer pits in. F1 Racer is in. Around Chem gets a 3-second time penalty. Around turn 8 goes Barmer. Around turn 9. Another one of the tricky corners around this circuit. Turn 9. And into turn 11. Barmer looks to the inside. Sends it in. Gets in front. He's into P2. Schultz didn't bother fighting Barmer there. Left the door wide open. Smart racing there, just letting him through. Barmer's got some serious pace right now. It's going to be next to impossible to try and fight him. Schultz looks to the inside, but he switches off DRS early. That way he doesn't try and re-overtake Barmer at turn 12. Oh, running wide is Vader. Ran awfully wide there at turn 12. Cost himself a fair chunk of time, and now Scavney's on the back of him. Half a second behind him, to be exact. Heading around turn 15. Scavney can put together a decent final sector. He can try and challenge Vader for that 4th place. 4.5 tenths separating these two as they head into turn 19. Scavney closes in. He's got a pretty tidy run going. Not a bad exit out of the final corner either. Switches on the battery. Wingett swings round at turn 17. Scavney looks to the inside, heading into turn 1. Vader overshoots it big time. Ooh-wee. That was a huge overshoot at turn 1. Made Scavney's job about 10 times easier. So the McLaren driver moves into 4th, Vader down to 5th. But Vader isn't done. He's still well behind Scavney's McLaren. He might be able to challenge down the next straightaway heading towards turn 12. Speaking of challenging, Barmer is closing in. He's now 9 tenths behind the race leader, Vermeulen. These two have a rivalry. A friendly / not so friendly rivalry. Like, there's a lot of banter between these two, so these two are going to race each other pretty hard, I imagine. Barmer closing in a little bit thanks to the power of DRS. Vader closing in thanks to the power of DRS. He looks to the inside and will get Scavney well before the braking zone. So Vader back up into 4th. But now a 3rd driver has joined the fight, and that's Switchback in the Aston Martin. He is right on the back of this 3-car train. Heading around turn 15, the tight left-hand hairpin. Yellows are out. That is Orlando spinning at the final corner. Around the triple right-hander, nice and steady from Switchback. Not pushing too hard around that complex. Around turn 19, and down towards turn 20. Yeah, Switchback won't be close enough to do anything just yet. Oh, a lot of understeer there too at the final corner. Lost a tremendous amount of time. Scavney's on the attack again. He gets in front of Vader. Will Vader overshoot again? No, he doesn't. He rectifies his mistake from the previous lap, but he's still right on the back of Scavney. This battle isn't over at the front. Oh, bit of an awkward run through the S's there from Vader. Took a very narrow line through turn 4. Cost him time. Nortex spins as well at, you guessed it, turn 17. Vader 4 tenths behind. 3.5, make it 3 tenths now as they head into turn 11. Vader needs a tidy run. Gets a tidy run. That's not a great exit there from Scavney. Opens DRS. He'll draw alongside. He has the inside line heading into turn 12. He should be able to hang on to 4th. Oh, Switchback! Hello, how are you doing? Scavney saw him coming. You could see the little twitch to the right to make sure he opens up the line down the inside so then Switchback doesn't just pile into the side of him. But I noticed something as well. Look at that steering wheel on Vader's car. He is minus 0.59 laps under. Vader is low on fuel, and that is a big problem as Orlando retires from the session. Schulz pits in. 10 bit early, I think. 12 laps. I think you can go a little bit further. Schulz will leave the pit lane. He'll come out behind Garvey. Burzy pitting in as well. It seems that lap 12 is indeed the pit window. I do think you could go a little bit longer. Hello, Orlando. That's his AI. Park that pit exit. Because the game's like that, I guess. Oh, Barmer! Gee whiz, that was a slide. At turn 9, almost completely lost control of the car. Somehow he was able to gather it up and not put it into a wall. That's quite remarkable stuff. I don't think Barmer will be close enough to attack Vermeulen here. No, he won't. Vermeulen will hang on to the race lead for now. But I must re-illustrate this problem that Vader's got. Low on fuel big time, and it's going to be difficult to get that fuel back as Switchback goes down the inside into turn 12. Scavney can't fight that one, I'm afraid. He moves down to 5th, Switchback up to 4th. Yeah, Vader's going to have a hard time getting that fuel back. Unless there's a safety car. Yeah, Vader's going to have a real tough time getting that fuel back. I remember doing a Formula Endurance race around here for a different league here in Australia. Did the entire race, all 56 laps of this US Grand Prix here at COTA. Really tough to save fuel. You have to lift and coast a lot. As Barmer goes down the inside, an audacious move at turn 1. Dived it in, didn't make it work. Obviously, he was way too far back. You got to appreciate the guy's tenacity there, sending it down the inside. Got to appreciate as well Vermeulen seeing him coming and leaving the door open and not crashing with Barmer. Because that was a real possibility there at turn 1. Over the crest around turn 10 and towards turn 11, the gap is 5/10, 6/10 of a second between the top two. So Barmer again will not be close enough to attack into turn 12. The rest of the gaps though in the field are pretty big, so this is the only battle we can really look at right now. Might see one between Vader and Switchback, especially considering the fact that Vader is low on fuel. Switchback has got plus 0.7, so he has plenty of spare fuel to play with. Pulls it up nicely, clobbers over the inside curb at turn 12. As Nortec gets a penalty, Cam Tizzle overtakes Scavney. Scavney might be able to counter-attack though, he's in the slipstream. Oh, but look at Cam's Alpine, it's flying! And here comes Electric Blade. Oh, wow. Just powers past. Oh, like in different classes. My goodness. Both Alpines just slingshotting away. Not surprising, Andy. Oh, and again at turn 1, they're side by side. Down the hill towards turn 2, Vermeulen has the inside line. And as a result, Vermeulen keeps the lead. But yeah, that's not surprising. I have noticed the interval down the straights. Yeah, Barmer's not gaining anywhere near as much time. Schulz sets a new fastest lap. A 20! That's a huge difference. Seems that Garvey's in the pits as well. He'll rejoin, I think, in 9th place in front of Burzy. It is going to be close with him. Down the inside, Barmer looks again. He loves playing these sort of games. But Vermeulen hangs on. Just. Yellows are out. That's F1 Racer spinning round. And again, it turns 17, 18. Really common occurrence. But yeah, even with DRS, Barmer was only able to gain a few hundredths down that straight. So yeah, Barmer's carrying a lot of wing as Racer retires from the session. Down the inside at turn 15, Kvyat style. He's diving it down everywhere. Can't wait for him to actually pull one off though. Heading towards turn 20. Final corner, Switchback gets by Vader, who spins at, you guessed it, How have you ended up here, though? It's turn 17, but he was in the gravel trap. How'd you do that? Switchback goes in. Yeah, this was about right time, so I don't think this is for damage. Oh, and hello. Into the lead goes Barmer. Wasn't watching towards the front. Too busy looking at how the hell Vader ended up in the gravel trap. Alright, so Barmer's going to pull away quite considerably then through this first sector, considering how much downforce Barmer has on that Red Bull. Look at the gap! He's found 7, 8 tenths through that first sector. 9 tenths. He's almost pulled a second. Vermouth, though, he's got a fast car. A real fast car in a straight line compared to Barmer's Red Bull. How much can he gain here? 8 tenths, 7.5 tenths. 6.5 tenths, 6 tenths, 5.5, 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths. Oh, I was hoping he'd send it down the inside. He had the momentum. Vermouth definitely had the momentum. He just needed to be very committed on the brakes to try and make it work. But Vermouth 100% had the momentum to try and send it down the inside. And I reckon Barmer would have left the door open as well. Especially considering the fact that Barmer's just been sending in on Vermouth for the past 3 laps or so. Oh, and into the pits goes Barmer. Now, he's got 20.7 seconds in hand over Schulz and P3. Will that be big enough for him to come out in front? I think it should be. Set of mediums obviously being bolted onto the car. Back into the fast lane, and Schulz is entering the final corner as I speak. So Barmer should get in front of Schulz pretty easily here. Schulz crossing the line now. Scavney a 3-second time penalty, and there's Barmer leaving the pits. So yeah, no, this has worked out pretty well for our championship leader. Not surprising. Not even a little bit surprising. Into turn 1, Scavney trying to keep up with Electric Blade. We saw how much straight line speed the Alpine had. So Scavney will be looking to try and close in through this first sector if he can. He's closing in a little bit. He's found a 10th and a half, 2 tenths. Definitely gaining time. He's going to lose all of it down the long straights. Yeah, look how much he closes in. It also helps that he's on 6-lap fresher hard compound tyres as well. Into turn 11. Third gear, nice and gentle on the exit. So you see here the straight line speed of that Alpine. Look at Blade driving away. Scavney with DRS, he's holding half a second. He's not gaining anything. That's how quick the Alpines are down the straights. They are fast. Vermouth's in on lap 17. Beginning of lap 18. He's in. So we've got 11 laps to go here at C.O.T.A. We're coming up to the final pit stop of the race. There we are. Unless, of course, we have a safety car. We have a safety car. I wouldn't be surprised if a few drivers hop onto the soft tyre. Matty Robbo spins. That is at turn 13. And Barmer 22 will resume the race lead here at C.O.T.A. Switchback sets a new fastest lap for the 36.7. Can't help but feel that's going to be beaten by Barmer. He's now got a 1.8 second lead over Vermouth. Vermouth in front of Schulz now. Schulz occupying third. Should occupy third throughout the rest of the race. Even if Switchback catches up, Switchback does have a 3-second time penalty next to his name. Definitely does not help him out, even in the slightest. Scavney closing in on Blade. Oh, ho, ho, ho. There was a small window that was open and it was abruptly shut by Blade. You see how much time Scavney gained through that first sector. Yellow's out again. It's Wingett spinning. Oh, collision! Oh my goodness me! Oh, that scared the daylights out of me. Oh my god! Oh, that's the safety car. Oh my goodness. That's damn near the most frightening accident I think I've ever seen. flick it to the left, and there comes Matty Robbo out of nowhere and slams into the Alpha. Oh my God, I've just had a heart attack. Oh, give me a minute here, folks. That genuinely scared the devil out of me. Alright, Barmer's in, Vermouth stays out, Shul comes in, Switchback comes in, Cam comes in, Blade comes in, Scavney comes in. Yeah, Vermouth shot himself in the foot here. Whoa, what the? What's with all the dust in the Mercedes garage? What the hell? So yeah, Vermouth has, oh, well, look, everyone's put it onto me. I thought people would go onto the soft tyre like Cam is. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Well, I thought a lot more people would try out the soft tyre and see if they can make those go to the end. Huh. Well, good on you, Cam. I like the fact you're on the soft tyre. To me, when you're being nice and aggressive, it's always a positive thing in racing terms. I feel like the mediums is a bit more of a safer, sort of conservative option in these sets of circumstances. A new front wing being applied onto the Williams, plus a new pair of underpants, I imagine. But gee whiz. Oh. That far out. Scared. I've seen many accidents in my time. I've never seen one that scary. You just flick it left and there's a Williams that just slams into the side of the Alpha. Oh, goodness. Oh. Oh my goodness. Ah. Right. We're going to spend a little bit of time behind the safety car. Apology accepted. Oh. Just how it all just panned out, man. Right on board with Wing It, see where he was, and then you come in mad. Oh my goodness. It just scared me, my goodness. How quickly it all happened, the ferocity of it all. Oh, it scared me. Alright. Let's go through some of the details here. So, position change first. Vermouth's made up a place from P2. He's up in first place, obviously. Barmer from the back of the grid has made up 14 spots. He's now second. I reckon all that Barmer's trying to do is just get driver of the day at every single round of this championship season. That's all that he's doing. Schulz is in third place. He hasn't gained or lost anything. Garvey up 7. Now, he hasn't pitted yet. During this safety car period, he's on 5 lap old mediums, so he's got slightly more worn out tyres compared to those around him. Switchback down 4, Cam up 3, Scavney down 1, same with Blade, and Vader is down 4, Bursey down 6, Nortec up 2, and Matty Robbo down 4. See the pit stops. Vermouth's made 1, Barmer 2, Schulz 2, Garvey 1, 2 for Switchback, 2 for Cam, 2 for Scavney, and 2 for everybody else, really. Tyres is a really important detail. So we've got 2 lap old mediums at the front of the field. We got fresh tyres for Barmer and Schulz. Garvey's on 5 lap old mediums. Switchback's on fresh mediums as well as Barmer and Schulz. Cam Tizzle is the only one on the soft tyre in P6. Scavney and everyone else behind, Blade, Vader, Bursey, Nortec and Matty Robbo, they all have fresh tyres. Penalty wise, as the safety car calls it in late, so Vermouth won't get as much time as you normally would to try and control the field. Just to go through penalties, Switchback, Cam, Scavney, Nortec and Matty Robbo all have 3-second time penalties. Alright, Vermouth controlling the field. Playing it nice and patient right now. And then he takes off. In the middle of 19 and 20, he takes off. We're now back under green flag racing here at C.O.T.A. It's lap 21 of 28. We've got 8 laps to go. Up the hill towards turn 1. Barman loses time as expected. He's carrying a lot more downforce. Cam Tizzle not closing in. It's his teammate Electric Blade down the inside of Scavney. He gets in front and into P7 he goes. Not ideal for Scavney. He needed to be in front of Blade heading into this section. We'll see Scavney close in through here. Look at him. Closing in tremendously. Oh, yeah, that's a warning. Didn't really need to do that. He saw an opportunity, and he definitely had a run, but he had nowhere to go. Through turn 9, and this is where he's going to lose time to Blade. Look at him drive away. He disappears. In front. There's nothing Scavney can do about it, I'm afraid. Out in front, Vermouth still leads. Barmer within 0.4 of a second of the race leader. He's buried in the slipstream, trying to use some of that battery to try and keep up. Barmer not close enough to try and send it though on his great rival. Oh, he might be close enough here. No, he won't. Never mind. Garvey has got switchback right on the back of him. Heading out of 13, around 14. Heading towards turn 15 on the racetrack. Barmer must have sent it down the inside. The gap reduced to less than a tenth of the second between these two. So Barmer must have sent it down the inside of turn 15. Through turn 19, towards turn 20, the final corner. Look at Barmer closing in on the brakes. It is absolutely ridiculous how much he closes in. 7 laps to go here at C.O.T.A. Down the main straightaway, up towards turn 1. Barmer way too far behind. Try and send it down the inside. Switch back close. Not close enough, I'm afraid. Around turn 2 and into the S's we go. Turns 3, 4, into 5. Around the double apex right-hander of turn 6. Towards 7. There's Schulz. There's the 2 leaders. And here comes the pack. Making their way out of the S's now. Out of turn 9. And around turn 10. Barmer's close. Dives it down the inside. He gets in front temporarily. But Vermouth's got traction. There's contact between the two. They really like to play around, Vermouth and Barmer. Barmer dumping the battery. Keeping up with Vermouth. He's lining himself up for a move. Looking round the outside here at turn 12. Vermouth covers well. Barmer trying to look round the outside here at 13. But again, can't get it done. He might look for a switchback move here into the hairpin. Vermouth covers well. With all this battling, Schulz is closing the gap. He's now 1.2 seconds behind. Around the triple right-hander. Out of turn 18. Towards turn 19, 7th gear. Down to 5th, clipping the apex well. Towards turn 20, the final corner. And back on to the main straightaway. 6 laps to go. DRS is now enabled. Heading up the hill towards turn 1. Barmer not close enough to make a move stick there. Has to stay behind for now. Garvey maintaining his 4th place. He's driving quite well on those slightly older medium compound tyres, making him do the work. Through the S as we go. Cam Tizzle gets a penalty. Oh dear. That now increases his total to 6 seconds, the most out of anyone in the field. I must say, for a racetrack that is somewhat notorious for track limit warnings, very few people have track limit penalties. Although in saying that, Vader's just given himself one, so I better keep myself quiet about track limit warnings from here on out. DRS open on Barmer's Red Bull. Battery switched on, switched off now. Heading towards turn 12, switchback hits Garvey. Barmer can't get Vermouth. Garvey under pressure. Down the inside goes Cam into turn 12, and 3 goes into 5th. Electric Blade's going to get in the fight. Can't get by Garvey at turn 13. Barmer and Vermouth side by side. Exiting turn 15. Around the triple right-hander we go. Yellow flags are out. It's Scavney. Scavney has spun at turn 14. Still side by side. Wheel-to-wheel contact as they go through 19. Barmer gets in front. Through turn 20. and takes the lead. A bit of a slide there from Vermeulen. It'll cost him time, but he's dumping his battery, closing the gap. Looks to the inside here into turn 1. Barman leaves the door open, but he's getting plenty of drive out of the hairpin. Oh, small wiggle though. Vermeulen's going to have a hard time keeping up with the Red Bull through here, through turn 3. Oh, huge understeer at 4. Big cut at 5. Big cut at 6. An awkward run through the S's, and it cost him time. Through turn 8. Up the hill and around 9. Down the hill towards turn 10. The gap has increased to 7/10. Nortec a 3-second time penalty. It increases his tally to 6 seconds. Down the long back straightaway. DRS open on Vermeulen's car. He'll close in rapidly on the Red Bull. Look at the overspeed he's got. To the outside, here into turn 12. Needs to brake deep. Barmer brakes deeper. Barmer maintains the race lead as Blade gets by Garvey. Garvey now down to 7th. Electric Blade, he's on for a top 4 here. So long as he keeps it tidy. Set for a top 4. Around the triple right-hander. Vermeulen, close. Needs a really nice run out of the final corner. If he wants to keep this fight alive, he needs to be spot on at every single corner. He cannot afford to make a mistake because Barman's got so much speed through the bends. It's ridiculous. Closes to within 0.5 of a second to the race leader. They head down the hill. Garvey, Vader battling for position. Vader with the inside line. Gets the nose in front and Garvey can't fight that, I'm afraid. Vader's into 7th. Bursey's now on the back of this train too. Same with Matty Robbo in P10. So we go through the S's. All these drivers having to deal with a little bit of dirty air, which is not a fun thing to deal with. Around turn 8. Up the hill and around turn 9. Oh, big wiggle there from Bursey. Huge wiggle. And a penalty to boot. Cutting way too much at turn 10. Robbo to the inside. Gets a nose alongside. Oh, I think Bursey wins the battle there. Keeps his Ferrari in front. Vermeulen retakes the lead. Down the inside at 12. Barmer can't fight that, or can he? Looking around the outside here at turn 13, he can't get in front. Keeping the battle alive though through 14. Heading towards 15. Looks to the inside here. Contact between the two cars. As they head around turn 16, a wiggle from Barmer. It costs him time. Fortunately, it didn't cost him any more than a couple of tenths, because that could have turned into a race-ending spin. Around the final corner. And back onto the main straightaway. It's now lap 26. We have got 3 laps to go. Up the hill towards turn 1. Barmer not close enough to dive bomb it down the inside. You can see the sparks flying off the Ferrari. Blade closes in on his teammate. Bursey closing in on Garvey. Down the inside of turn 1 goes the Ferrari. Oh, tidy exit from Matty Robbo. He is right on the back of the McLaren, but he's unable to find a way by. Through the S as we go. Oh, tidy bit of understeer from Robbo. Cost him a little bit of time, not too much, just a little. Barmer close. Will he send it? Yes, he shall. Down the inside at turn 11. He's got the nose in front, but Vermeulen once again getting drive around the outside. Maintains the lead. Heading down the long straightaway towards turn 12. Barmer dumping battery. He's unable to find a way by Vermeulen heading into turn 12. Heading towards turn 13. See Barmer gain a fair chunk of time through here as Matty Robbo has overtaken Garvey. Down the inside again at 15. Oh, contact, wheel to wheel. Vermeulen has to use the runoff area to avoid the sausage curve. Otherwise his car would have been yeeted in the air and probably into a fence. Out of turn 18 and towards turn 19. Barmer, he could try and send it here if he wants as Blade and Tizzle battle for position. The two Alpines battling for P6 on track. Lap 27 now. 2 laps to go. 0.2 of a second separating the top 2. They head up to turn 1. Barmer with the inside line sends it in deep. Gets in front of Vermouth. He takes the race lead back. Out of turn 2. Blade takes Vader. He's into P5. Can Vader fight back? He's got drive. Looking around the outside here at turn 2, which will turn into the inside at turn 3, but he can't keep the fight alive entering turn 3. He has to give in. Big cut there from Blade. That's bound to be a warning. 8.5 tenths separating the top 2. Vermouth's going to have a real tough time closing in on Barmer here. Needs a really nice run out of turn 11. Doesn't quite have it. Barmer got a better run. And he doesn't have a great deal of battery left either. 8 tenths, 7 tenths, 6 tenths, 5 tenths, 4 tenths. Still second place. Vermouth not close enough to send it on Barmer. Around turns 13 and 14. As Vader takes Blade. Blade fights back. He has the inside line. You can see Vader trying to fight around a long way. Can't keep it alive though. Looks to the inside here at turn 15. Oh, slight contact as I believe Garvey has had an incident at the exit of turn 14. Blade is in front. Vader looking for a way by though. Heading around the penultimate corner, turn 19. Vader still unable to find a way by. The leaders are on the last lap. Lap 28 of 28 here at Circuit of the Americas. Vermouth, I'm afraid for you, buddy, it's too little, too late. Barmer's now got track position. And he's got the setup to pull away here through the first sector. Schulz now gets a 3-second time penalty, and he was closing in on Vermouth. There might have been a potential battle for second. I'm afraid that's over now, thanks to that time penalty. Out of turn 7 towards turn 8. Vader close, but not quite close enough. And even if Vader can get by, thanks to his 3-second time penalty, it will ultimately mean nothing. Blade himself has got no time penalty so far. He will take P4 away from Switchback, who now has 6 seconds worth of penalties next to his name. But it's been a fairly expected display from our championship leader. As I've mentioned on previous streams, he is of course a 3-time AM1 series Drivers' Champion. Vader tries to take the position back. Blade will hang on to the inside line. Oh, that's tight. Contact! And spinning goes Blade! What was a guaranteed 4th, he's now dropped down to 10th. He didn't have to battle Vader. Spinning as well, Bursey. Cam Tizzle involved too. My goodness, carnage on the final lap. But there's no carnage out in front. Barmer takes another win. His 3rd on the trot here in Season 11. Vermouth in 2nd and Schulz in 3rd. But what happened here? Blade, he's come to a dead stop. He's probably left his rig. He's been disqualified. Oh, dearie me. That was a guaranteed 4th place finish. He didn't have to fight Vader at all. Could have just let him through. It was within range, well within range of taking 4th. But the two dueled through turn 14. And Blade got the short end of the stick. Indeed, BK. Last lap carnage here at C.O.T.A. Bahrain, Montreal, and now here in Austin. Excuse me, I almost lost my voice. 3 wins on the trot for Barmer 22. He is truly unstoppable. Vermouth did all he could, but the best he could do was 2nd. And Schulz, what a debut in AM1. A 3rd place finish. Well done. So, the unofficial results of the United States Grand Prix. Barmer 22 is your race winner, and he once again takes a full complement of points in the round of the AM1 Championship. Vermouth will finish in 2nd place, 2 seconds off the win. Schulz in 3rd place on his debut. What a debut for him. Switchback 4th, followed by Vader. And Matty Robbo, P6 out of nowhere. Burzy in 7th, Nortec 8th, Scabney in 9th, Garvey rounds out the point scoring places in P10. Cam Tisleham's next, followed by Wingett, who retired from the session. Actually, after Cam, they're all retirements, or a disqualification in Blade's case. So, Wingett, F1 Racer, Orlando, Saint, and Electric Blade. All of them did not finish this race. Started with 16, ended with 11. Carnage-filled race here at C.O.T.A, especially towards the end. Well, there you go. I'd say, considering the circumstances that AM1 was put through in this preceding week, I'd say we recovered pretty well here at C.O.T.A. Had a decent sized field, we had a decent race, plenty of action, plenty of drama, some chaos at the end, but an expected result with Barmer 22. Oh, go away. Stupid lady. I need you talking over the top of me. But yeah, an expected result, even though Barmer was starting from the very back. We know how much pace he's got, so yeah. It wasn't easy for him by any means. He did a really good job making his way up through the field. Making the most of a really downforcey setup. It had so much downforce compared to everything else. So down the straights, it was about as slow as a Honda McLaren, but through the corners, it was properly quick. And Barmer made the most of it, and he takes another win. He'll move second, and well done to Schulz. Awesome effort, buddy. I don't usually do podium interviews, Daygod. Oh, sorry. Join AM1 or join COS in general. There should be links somewhere attached to the video if you wish to join the league itself. But yeah, and also Contest of Speed has official website as well, contestofspeed.com. There you go. Stream Elements doing its thing. If you want to register as a driver, there's a link. You can come and join the carnage of Contest of Speed. But we've got American tiers running. We've also got European tiers as well, running in a wide diversity of series, including Assetto Corsa and iRacing as well, from what I can remember. Well, I think, folks, I'll wrap everything up. An interesting event here at C.O.T.A, to say the least, especially, as I mentioned before, with the preceding circumstances leading into this event. Yeah, I think we did an alright job. But I think with everything said and done now, it's time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 4 of the AM1 Championship at Baku City Circuit for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The carnage doesn't stop, it seems, in this F1 season on Contest of Speed, because we're gonna see plenty of carnage next week. But until then, it's goodbye.